some of us, even believers, are confounded by the fact that some of our prayers feel unanswered. I now, as I've grown older, realize that no prayers are unanswered. It's just sometimes the answer is no. And I've learned to intuit through reading the scriptures and other ways, what's on God's mind.
One time, I think it was in an interview, you were arguing the point that you could either believe in Jesus Christ as the Son of God, or you'd have to call him a nutcase, but to just say that he was a good man doesn't work.
Yeah, no, Jesus was either, Charles Manson, an absolute nutcase, or, in my opinion, who he said he was. And we are faced with a very difficult choice, therefore, because this man went to the cross, saying he was what had been prophesied about, and that he was God made flesh, and that, that God so loved the world that he tried to explain himself to the world by becoming like us. And I'm so fascinated by the idea of the child born in, straw poverty. For me, there's a poetic power to that. It is a remarkable story, the Christmas story, and it never fails to amaze me.
Let's talk about something that happened to you in 1985. I mean, you were already well en route to becoming, one of the most famous musicians in the world. And you took time out, you and your wife, and you went to Ethiopia with World Vision, as I recall. Why did you go to Africa? What was your motivation? What happened to you when you were there?
Well, I was a part of the Live Aid. The first Live Aid was in 1985, and so Live Aid was organized to try and raise money to pay for food for people in Ethiopia and relief. So this really rang every bell inside my head, and as a result, myself and my very young wife went off to Ethiopia, and we worked there for a while in an orphanage, just under the wire, no cameras, just to try and figure out what was happening. This was a different kind of poverty. This was people of great dignity, reduced to begging for food. And Ethiopians are very royal people. I mean, they're extraordinary looking, and a striking group. And to see them with their heads shaved inside the camp or outside the camp, to see them queuing up to stay alive, was something I was never going to forget. Women carrying 3 children, older people had been left behind on the journey, and I asked the question that I'm sure so many people asked, which is, how could this be that in a world of plenty, people could be let starve to death? And of course, as you grow up, you think, well, that's just the way of the world. Well, yes, it is. That is the way of the world. But it is not the way the world has to be. And if that is the way of the world, we have to overthrow the way of the world.